Alrighty, folks, real quick, before we get started, I have to congratulate all of you chairman members again for cashing in on 6 more selections on my premium site yesterday. We had the Yankees, Texas Rangers, Twins, Guardians plus 1.5 on the run line, Canucks in professional hockey, and we also hit on a 2-team NBA parlay. It's also going to put us at 5-0 in our last 5 chairman package picks in that membership alone. And the only way you could have accessed all of those winners yesterday is to join my full access, all-inclusive chairman membership. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a moment. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to my Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Monday, April 29th, 2024. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you had a great weekend. And of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on social media since 2016. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that I actually like the best, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive chairman membership. Chairman members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your membership. I'll tell you, we got a lot of loyal folks who've been signed up to that, Chairman membership for quite some time now. I think it's a great tool for you. I think you guys are smart in doing that. This is a lot of great information that you get with explanations because of the podcast. And it costs us $3.33 a day. I know I don't typically do a hard sell, but if you haven't tried out the chairman package, I don't know what you're doing. If you watch me every single day and you haven't at least signed up once, you're crazy because you're missing out on just a ton of free info and a lot of winning picks. But anyway, folks, we are 4-1 in our last 5 extra daily picks. 4-0 in our last 4 crowd pleaser teasers. And finally, folks, once again, we're 5-0 in our last 5 chairman package picks. And the good news is we have plays going off in all of those packages here today. And they're all included in the chairman membership. The link for my site is in my bio. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Yankees at the Orioles. Orioles. Let's try that again. Yankees at the O's, 635 East. Baltimore's minus 130, totals 9. Grayson Rodriguez for the O's, Clark Schmidt for the Yankees. And both clubs coming into today's game with a lot of good stuff going on. For the Yankees, starting pitcher Clark Schmidt is 2-0 with an ERA in the 3s. Meanwhile, for Baltimore, Grayson Rodriguez comes into today's start with a 3-1 record, and he's really shown some good stuff this year. 3 out of Baltimore's last 4 at Camden Yards stayed under the number. Meanwhile, the Yankees are 17-12 to the under for the entire season. Now, when it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game is being featured as today's extra daily pick. And if you haven't signed up for it, you may want to think about doing that right now. But as far as making a free play is concerned, give me the under 9 runs. Next game, Cardinals-Tigers, 6:40 p.m. East. Detroit's minus $120, totals 8.5. Kenta Maeda for the Tigers, Steven Matz for St. Louis. Now, the Cards have won 4 out of their last 6, and they looked good at the plate during those victories. Mason Wynn's hitting .311. Nolan Arenado has the most hits. They're facing Kenta Maeda, who's struggled a bit in the early going here. The righty's still winless in 22-plus innings with an ERA of 5.96, nearly in the 6s. And even if Maeda throws well, he may not get much run support. The Tigers are a bottom 5 hit-producing team on their own field. Now, injury-wise, Carpenter, Edman, and Carlson are all still out for the Redbirds. When it comes to the total, 3 out of Detroit's last 4 at Comerica Park got over the total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Cardinals plus $1 over 8.5. All right, next matchup, Nationals-Marlins, 6:40 p.m. East. Miami's minus $145, totals 8 runs. Trevor Rogers for the Marlins, Jake Irvin for Washington. And the Nats are currently on a 3-game winning streak. All 3 of those wins coming against Miami in this very series. The Nats are also playing their best baseball on the road. Washington has a .600 win percentage when they bat first. Meanwhile, for the Marlins on the other side, they're just 2-14 in their own stadium. 2-14 at home. They're giving up 6.2 runs a game during that time frame. And I tell you, we could see more of the same here today with Trevor Rogers on the bump. The lefty's 0-3 with a 1.52 whip. Now, total-wise, the Fish are 11-5 to the over at Lone Depot Park. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Nationals. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Give me Washington plus 1.5, over 8. Next game, Royals, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's minus 145, totals 9 runs. Yariel Rodriguez for the Jays. Jonathan Bolin making his season debut for KC. Now, Boley was 3-1 in AAA Omaha this year with an ERA of 2.57. He actually had 21 strikeouts in 21 innings with a 1.09 whip. So he looked pretty good down there at AAA to start the year. I think he recorded about 3 1/3 innings of work last year with the Royals. So not a whole lot of major league experience, under a handful of innings. But he did look good in AAA here this year, and it looked like he's, looked like he was ready to move up. So this is the day they're going to do it. And I'll tell you, he's facing a Toronto lineup who's struggling getting base runners. So this might be the right spot for him. Toronto's averaging under 7.2 hits a game. And no real surprise, they're now a bottom 5 run-producing team in the entire league. Bo Bichette's hitting just 210, Vlad Guerrero 218. And they're facing a Kansas City team who won 4 out of their last 6. Once again, their pitchers have been tough to hit against this year. These guys have been really good. They're currently allowing fewer runs per 9 than any other staff in baseball at the moment. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, 2 out of Kansas City's last 3 road games did get over the number. Give me Kansas City plus 1.5, over 9. Next ball game, Cubs, Mets, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. The Mets are minus $1.30, total 7.5. Luis Severino for the Mets, Jameson Taillon for Chicago. Now, the Cubs lost their last 2 straight, and that includes a 17-0 drubbing at the hands of Boston. Chicago now has a losing road record, and they haven't really hit well enough in those road games. The Cubs are currently a bottom 10 hit-producing lineup away from home. Chris Morel's hitting just 210 with 24 strikeouts. Oddly enough, we couldn't get enough of Chris Morel last season early in the year. That's all we talked about when it came to the Cubs. Well, this year, a little bit different story. Once again, just 210, 24 strikeouts. Ian Happ, just 229 at the dish as well. That's got to be killing you there. That's one of your studs. And, of course, they have to face Luis Severino on the mound, who's got a couple of wins on the hill for the Mets with a 2.67 ERA. And I'll tell you, these Mets pitchers have definitely been tough to hit against, especially in Flushing, Queens. They're striking out double-digit batters a game at home. Starling Marte is still out for the Mets. Bellinger and Suzuki inactive for Chicago. 6 out of the Cubs' last 10 gatherings with New York State under the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Now, the Cubs also went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings this season themselves. Give me the Mets minus $1.30, under 7.5. Next matchup, Twins, White Sox, 7:40 Eastern first pitch. Minnesota's minus $1.65, total 7.5. Joe Ryan for Minnesota, Garrett Crochet for Chicago. And even though strikeouts are absurdly high for the lefty Crochet, he still comes into today's game with a 1-4 record and an ERA in the 6s. And along with having the worst record in the American League right now, the White Sox are obviously the worst run-producing team in the entire big leagues. Andrew Vaughn's hitting just 167. Benintendi's just 4 points over the Mendoza line. Should be a pretty good day here for starting pitcher Joe Ryan. He's got 38 strikeouts and just 28-plus innings for the Twins. He's also got an ERA of 3.45 along with a 1.01 whip. This Minnesota pitching staff as a whole, well, they don't walk many batters, and they're actually recording more strikeouts a game than any other staff in the league right now. Now, injury-wise, Correa and Lewis are both still out for the Twins. Luis Robert inactive for Chicago. 7 out of Chicago's last 10 ball games did get over the total. Meanwhile, Minnesota saw their last 3 straight on the road get over the line themselves. 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me Minnesota minus 165, over 7.5. Next game, Rays, Brewers, 7:40 Eastern start time. Milwaukee's minus $1.25, totals 8.5. Bryce Wilson for Milwaukee, Ryan Pepio for Tampa Bay. Now, Peps has an ERA in the 3s along with a stingy sub-1 whip. And as much as the Rays have struggled here, they do have a winning record against National League opponents. And a lot of that is thanks to some good hitting at the dish. The Rays are currently a top 5 hit-producing team on the road. Ahmed Rosario hits .320 and leads the lineup in hits. Isaac Paredes has the most homers and runs batted in. And they're facing a Brewers pitching staff who's they actually allowed 30 total runs in their last 2 games. And for some reason, the Brewers are playing their worst baseball at home. They've got a losing record in their own building, and they're striking out a whole lot of times there at the plate. Now, injury-wise, Christian Yelich still out for the Brew Crew. Lowe and Lau still inactive for Tampa. The Rays are currently 17-12 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, Milwaukee saw 8 out of their last 11 home games get over the line themselves. Give me the Rays plus 105, over 8.5. Next game, Phillies, Angels, 9:38 East. Philadelphia's minus $1.40, totals 8.5. Christopher Sanchez for the Titans, Griffin Canning for Los Angeles. And I tell you, Canning's off to a crappy year already. 1-3 record, ERA in the 7s. And out of the Angels' last 10 ball games, they took the loss in all of those contests except for one. And aside from some terrible effort out of their rotation, they've also struck out just way too many times at the plate. Zach Neto leads the roster in strikeouts at the dish. .213 batting average for him. OPS in the 500s. Meanwhile, Brandon Drury's hitting just .167. And they're facing a Philly team who won their last 4 straight. And they strike out more batters a game than any other roster besides one. So it should come as no surprise. This Philly pitching staff is allowing under 5.7 hits a game on the road. And we could see more of the same here today with lefty Chris Sanchez. He struck out 28 batters in just 24-plus innings. He's also got himself an ERA in the 2s. Now, total-wise, the Phils could potentially put this one over the number themselves. Meanwhile, the Angels have gone 67% to the over as the home team. Give me Philadelphia minus $1.40, over 8.5. Next matchup, Braves, Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Atlanta's minus $1.45, total 7.5. Max Fried for Atlanta, Bryce Miller for Seattle. And as good as Miller's been, well, the Mariners refuse to hit the baseball. They're striking out more times a game at home than any other lineup in the league. And no real surprise here, folks. They're averaging just 6.3 hits a game in front of their own crowd. And I'll tell you, they may have their hands full with lefty Max Fried. He's yet to record a loss in 25-plus innings. And even if Fried stinks here today, he is backed by the best hitting lineup in the game. Marcell Ozuna hits .340 with 9 home runs, 31 big RBI. And Ozzie Albies hits .329 with an OPS in the 900s. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, the Braves saw unders in 9 out of their last 10 ball games. Meanwhile, for the Mariners on the other side, they went 90% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Braves minus 145, under 7.5. Next game, Reds, Pods, 9:40 p.m. East. Both teams are minus $1.10, pretty much a coin flip in this one. Totals 8 runs. Matt Waldron for the Pods, Nick Lodolo for the Reds. And if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the money line, run line, or total in this one, this game is being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on my premium site. You'll get one premium selection of mine every single day for the next 30 days. The math works out to be just 6 cents a day. And the site is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Dodgers, Diamondbacks, 9:40 p.m. East. The Dodgers are minus $1.40, totals 10 runs. James Paxton for Los Angeles, Tommy Henry for Arizona. And even though Henry's had his fair share of shaky outings, he is averaging a strikeout an inning on the mound. And if you think the Dodgers have a powerful lineup, well, I think the Diamondbacks are grossly overlooked right now. They're leading the major leagues in run production at home. Ketel Marte is batting .307 and leads the lineup in hits. Lourdes Gurriel, he has the most runs batted in. And they're taking on a Dodger club who's definitely had their issues covering the run line. They currently have a losing record against the run line this year. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Dodgers have been held to 4 runs or less in 7 out of their last 10 games. Give me the Diamondbacks plus 1.5 over 10. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the video. It's going to be in that Pirates Athletics game, 9:40 p.m. East. Pittsburgh's minus $1.30, totals 8 runs. Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh, Joe Boyle for Oakland. And I'll tell you what, Boyle's been about as painful as a boil on your back from excessive sunburn. The righty's 1-4 with an ERA in the 7s. Even if Boyle doesn't ooze clear liquid out of his bulbous postrel here today, he is backed by one of the worst hitting lineups in the majors. Oakland's dead last in run production at home. Ryan Noda's batting just .143. Shane Langeliers just .165. And they're facing Bailey Falter, who's looked good in a handful of starts for Pittsburgh. The lefty's got an ERA in the 3s, along with a stingy .89 whip. The Pirates are definitely having little problems getting base runners on the road. They're currently leading the majors in walks per 9 away from home. Now, the Pirates' last 3 straight stayed under the total. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Pirates minus $1.30, under 8. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our, what is it called? Quick pick recap. Give me the under 9, Yankees O's. St. Louis plus $1, over 8.5. I'm 5-0, my last 5 chairman picks on my premium site. Washington plus 1.5, over 8 runs. Royals plus 1.5, over 9. Mets minus 130, under 7.5. Twins minus 165, over 7.5 runs. Tampa Bay plus 105, over 8.5. Phillies minus $1.40, over 8.5 runs. Atlanta Braves minus 145, under 7.5. I have no free pick available for you in the Reds-Padres game. Give me the Diamondbacks plus 1.5, over 10. And give me Pittsburgh minus $1.30, under 8. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.